A winning bid or proposal can be many things, but I would say that in my experience of reviewing hundreds of them over the years, it is the one that's written the best. It's not necessarily the one that hits all the right points, but it definitely isn't the one that's been copied and pasted. It definitely isn't the one that's just a lot of text. It is the one that looks good, that's easy to read. As I say a lot, none of these evaluators in any organisation ever is sitting there poring over your draft when it's 100 or 120 pages long. They're skim reading at best, they're looking for information. So when you're not using graphics and bullet points and tables and good subheadings which highlight the question they're already asking you, or highlighting keywords or things like that, you're making it 10 times harder for them to find the information they want. Essentially, you're being scored on what you've written. They're gonna obviously read your exec summary, so that needs to be amazing. That has to be outstanding, and it should tell them exactly what they need to find and where they're going to go looking for it. A little bit like when we go on YouTube and it now gives us a breakdown of at minute 3 you'll find this, at minute 5 you'll find this. So it's just something to think about, I think. But there's lots of things like that where things aren't necessarily made clear to people, and people are sending in proposals that are just wall to wall of text. Because I think so many organisations still have this idea of doing the right thing or something looking corporate or looking professional, and to some people adding those extra bits in doesn't do that, but you're trying to win business in the best way possible, and that only comes from making things clear and simple. So if you know me already, you know that I always lead with brevity and clarity. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it concise and get to the point, but make sure they know what you're trying to get to. Because if you're not doing that, you're just going to be forgotten about. If they've got 30 proposals on the desk, they've got to get through in 2 days, and they need to score all of them, or they need to do a sift initially, which is what they're going to do. They're going to look at yours. It's not clear, it's not straightforward, it's just page of blah, 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 blah. It's not easy to read. They're not going to spend the time trying to decipher through that because they simply don't have the time. If they have 30, they might get it down to 5 or 10 and then think, right, okay, well, this is really good. This is a maybe. But it really does come down to how clear the communication is. It's not rocket science, literally, it's not. It's just about clear information. The scoring criteria does come down to a few different things, but it depends on what they're faced with on the day. So just make it clear, make it simple, get to the point. For the love of God, honestly. Don't waffle on about stuff, there's just no point.